So you're looking to put together your video content creator kit, and at the heart of that is an ongoing debate. Do you go full frame or crop sensor? Let's find out. All right, so today we are looking at our intermediate level video content creator kit. In our previous two videos, we went over an entry-level kit and a beginner kit. The choice you have today is, are you going to go crop sensor or are you going to go full frame? So the two cameras we've selected for today are both from Sony, and they're both great cameras. For our crop sensor option, we have the Sony A6600. And for our full frame option, we're gonna be looking at the A7c. Now, let's start with a crop sensor camera like the A6600. You're still going to get a lot of the same recording abilities, and in fact, the same megapixel sensor. They're both 24 about megapixel sensors. One of the differences is, obviously, you're cramming a lot more pixels onto a smaller sensor. You're probably not going to get the same level of low light sensitivity. But let's talk about some of the things that are common between these two cameras. Like I said, you're going to get similar recording rates, meaning you're going to get 4K 30p. You're also going to get 1080 options and some slow motion capabilities. But really what you're looking at is two different categories of lenses that will be available to you. Now, with a crop sensor camera like this, you're actually able to use both APS-C or crop sensor lenses and full frame lenses. So the other difference between the A6600 and the A7C is the LCD screen articulation. The A6600 goes with a flip up screen, so you're still going to be able to use it as a vlogging camera. The A7C takes a different approach, has this fully articulating screen. Just allows you a lot more flexibility when it comes to angles that you can shoot from. Some other differences that may or may not matter to you are mainly with ergonomics. Being a crop sensor camera, it's going to be smaller. The other difference is the SD card is actually located inside the battery slot. It's a strange choice, and I personally really don't like this SD card slot location. So with the A6600, you are getting Sony's really good autofocus performance. And this is one of the reasons why I choose Sony over some of the other manufacturers, is because I've always been impressed with their autofocus capabilities. Now, the A6600 has slightly less autofocus points. The sensitivity for autofocus works well down to -2 EV, where the Sony A7C works down to -4 EV. Basically, all that means is the autofocus performance of this will start to fall off if you're in low light situations. Let's talk about the A7C now. The A7C, you'll notice right away, is just a little bit bigger. It's a newer camera. Some of the technologies just work a little bit better. Some of the advantages you get with a full frame sensor of the same resolution is that you're getting larger pixels, which means this is going to perform better in low light, and it's also going to give you a greater ability to control the depth of field in your shots. The other deciding factor, of course, is going to be cost. The A6600, I believe, is currently on sale for around $1,200, where the A7C comes in around $1,800 at launch, and in general, full frame lenses will also be more expensive, and you cannot use APS-C crop sensor lenses on a full frame camera, generally speaking. So with both of those things said, I think the better value option for new creators is definitely the crop sensor A6600. Now, for more experienced video content creators, or maybe users that already have a crop sensor and want to start getting into the full frame ecosystem, obviously I think the A7C is a great choice. It's probably one of the most affordable, mirrorless, full frame cameras that are out on the market today, with all of the great autofocus and color science and video quality that you can expect now from Sony. So of course, with either of these cameras, you're going to need to record to an SD card, and we'll have some links to the ones that we suggest down below that's not going to break the bank. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna need is a lens, because again, these are interchangeable lens cameras, so they do not come with an included lens. So what do I recommend? We found that one of the best options is actually produced by Tamron. Tamron makes lenses for both crop sensor and full frame. And the two we're suggesting today are the 17 to 50 millimeter for the crop sensor and the 28 to 75 millimeter for the full frame. The great thing about both of these Tamron lenses is they have a fixed f2.8 aperture through the entire focal range. So the reason I'm going with these two lenses in particular is because they cover a good range from sort of wide to sort of telephoto. It gives you a nice sort of mid-range for your shots, which is going to be probably 80 to 90% of what you need out of the lens. Finally, these Tamron lenses really offer excellent image quality at a very reasonable price, and we use them all the time in our productions. All right, so from this point forward, it doesn't really matter which camera you've chosen, the next pieces are going to work with either kit. So let's start in on that with the variable ND. So again, as we've mentioned in previous videos, the benefit of an ND filter is it allows you to lock in all of your settings, and as the light changes in the scene, all you have to do is turn this dial to correct the exposure to where you want it. So the variable ND is just a cheap but very powerful tool to have in your kit. Speaking of controlling your lighting, we're going to get into our lighting category. We are looking at the Aputure Amaran 200X. So for this kit, we're advancing in both the brightness that we're going for, and we're going from the daylight balanced to the X series, meaning you can go from tungsten balanced all the way up to daylight balanced. So the benefit you're getting here obviously is a much brighter light, which means you have much more headroom when you're lighting a scene or you're lighting yourself. But if you have something where you need to light a bigger area, you have that extra power to get you through that. The price point on this is also very affordable, especially for the type of color accuracy that you're gonna get from this. There really is nothing better on the market. Okay, so the other thing we're adding to this particular kit is a second light. Now we're not doing anything too crazy, but we are gonna add a little versatility to this kit with another light from Aputure, and this is their MC light. The light itself is very compact, about the size of a credit card. So the main advantage of this light is you're also getting RGB, which means you can tune in basically any color you can think of. So if you have branding colors that you'd like to add into your videos, you could put this on top of a camera. There's a lot of different things you can do with these compact LED panel lights. Finally, the other great thing is this is completely battery powered. You can have this with no power requirements, charge it, and you're ready to go. So obviously for the big light, you're gonna need some sort of stand. We have the stand from Impact, which is a cheaper option. And then we have these Manfrotto stands, which I have here, which are great because they actually have a locking mechanism where you can attach multiple of these together. You can store them together and they actually latch together, so you can carry them all together. I think I've said together about 100 times. So now we're gonna look at the modifier we've chosen for this kit, and that's the Light Dome Mini 2. So as you can see, you've got this nice diffusion material in the front. It's gonna give you a nice soft light. The other great thing about this is it's very portable. It folds up and it all fits into a bag this big, which is pretty impressive. All right, so now we're moving on to another crucial component of your videos, and that is audio. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the Tascam DR10L. It comes with a locking lavalier microphone that just sits in the top there and screws on. This one actually records to a micro SD card, so you're not having to deal with any wireless system and interference that comes with a lot of the cheaper versions of those wireless systems. So the other safety feature on this, so to speak, is the backup recording. And this is something that has saved us so many times. So basically, if you're doing an interview and someone starts off as kind of a quiet talker, and then all of a sudden they're yelling and you're like, oh God, there's going to be clipping in my audio signal. Don't worry, you've got a backup file that's recorded automatically at a lower volume. So you can easily swap that part out in post-production and you've saved your audio from clipping. Okay, so assuming that a lav mic might not be perfect for every scenario, maybe you're at an event and you just need to capture room audio and no one in particular is talking on camera. Well, the solution we have for you is, I believe this is called the Rode Video Mic Micro. But basically this is a little camera top shotgun microphone, but it's gonna give you much better audio compared to the built-in mic in either of these cameras. So there's two other categories on here that I do recommend at the intermediate level, but definitely not necessary. One that I do think is crucial is getting a good tripod. Specifically, I recommend choosing a tripod that has a fluid head. Now, the one we're gonna list here is actually from a company, I believe it's pronounced Newer or Newer. They offer a 2-in-1 tripod monopod that has a fluid head on top. The bonus of getting something with a fluid head is you're gonna be able to get much smoother panning and tilting motions just by the design of the head itself. Another tool for filmmaking that has become very ubiquitous is the gimbal. We tend to use products from DJI. In their budget option, they have the Ronin SC, and I think you can get this for somewhere between $200 to $300, and is definitely something that's gonna allow you to get cinematic, smooth shots that are going to up your production value. Not necessary, but definitely something to consider when you're at this intermediate level. And finally, you're going to need something to edit your videos on. And for this, we're actually going with the M1 MacBook Pro. This thing has the brand new M1 8-core processor, and their displays are second to none. The colors and the resolution you're getting from these little screens is amazing. Really quickly to finish this off, the editing programs of choice, again, will be similar to our beginner level setup, where we definitely recommend checking out Adobe's suite of programs, including Adobe Premiere. You can also check out DaVinci Resolve, which has a free version, and I think you can't go wrong choosing either one. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for our intermediate level video content creator kit. Now, a quick note, if there's any piece of equipment that you'd like to see a more in-depth look at, definitely leave that down in the comments below as a suggestion for a future video. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, definitely make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. In the next video, we're gonna talk about the advanced or the professional level video content creator kit, where we're gonna dive into even more advanced lighting, sound, cameras, lenses. It's gonna be great. Definitely make sure to tune in for that. This has been Nick Taylor from Menagerie Studio, and we hope to see you in the next video.